getting a vaccine or getting a cure. The vaccine, we are preparing to start vaccinations in end of February or March, because we are going to get 3.5 million vaccines from a program known as COVAX facility. This is a group of countries which got together and funded vaccines for developing countries. So we are going to get 3.55 million vaccines from this. If we only open for the candidate classes, the numbers are much less than the total learner population, and that therefore they can use the school facilities to be able to social distance, not overcrowd, and plus other measures, wearing masks and so on. Our reasoning was that they would then be safe and could sit for their exams, could learn to catch up, but also sit for their exams so that they don't lose a year. That was our reasoning. You remember the whole strategy against corona is don't crowd. Wear the mask. Don't touch your eyes or your mouth or your nose with the unclean hands, and so on. Those measures we taught you at the beginning of the crisis, we thought that if they were used by a smaller population in a school campus that normally housed more learners, they would be safe. Indeed, our reasoning was correct because the candidate class learners were apparently 1.3 million out of the population of 15 million. That means less than 10%. Now, this less than 10% using the facilities that were previously being used by 15 million. So our reasoning was, no, we think this is safe. Indeed, since we opened, it's now 3 months for the candidate classes. Out of the 1.3 million learners, because that is the population. The ones to sit for S6, the ones to sit for S4, the ones to sit for P7, altogether they are 1.3 million. Now, out of that, up to now, only 257 have reported with corona, and nobody has died. So that was a success as a result of a calculated risk. Risks are there, but they should be calculated, they should be weighed. And when we weighed the decision, we thought it would be safe. Now, since this has worked, we have now decided to open for what they call the semi-candidate classes. This is the term they are using for the next candidate classes. These are S5, S3, and primary 6. These are the next batch, the next category, because the other ones are going to finish, the P7s are going to finish on the 31st of March. That's when the last people will do the exams and go home, the P7s. And then the S4s would finish on the 6th of April. So we thought it was wise for the next candidate classes to come in now. And we have decided that the report on the 1st of March 2021. This again for emphasis are the S5s, the S3s, and the P6s. Apparently, the total number is 1.68 1,687,032. That is about 1.7 million, roughly. The primary 6s are 1.1 million, or 1.2 million, roughly. The S3s are, these are primary 6. Primary 6 are 1.2 million approximately. The senior 3s are 426,000. The senior 5s are 104,000. Altogether, about 1.7 million. So all these will report on the 1st of March. Now, again here, we are taking a calculated risk because again, the numbers are still less. If you get 1.7 million plus the 1.3 million who are already in the school system, in the school campuses, that is now 3 million. 3 million out of 15 million, using the facilities of the 15 million. We think the numbers are small enough to be spread out in the facilities that are normally used by the 15 million. Because 3 million is like 1/5 of the 15 million, like 20% of the 15 million. So that's why we say we think this is all right. We think we can manage. Now then the question is, what happens to the P4s and P5s and the S1s and the S2s who are continuing with the long distance education at home? Because remember that education has been going on. It was a pity that some people interfered with the radios. Because we were supposed to give radios to these learners. But some people interfered with that. I was busy campaigning, I didn't get time to fight because it would have caused some little war. But Katonda Jari, God is there, so we shall sort it. Otherwise, my idea was to have radios for every homestead. Now, in order to complement those radio educations, after the 6th of April, when the present candidate classes have gone away, then the Ministry of Education will announce a detailed plan for how the S2s and the S4s and the S1s and the S2s can now also come to school in order to complement what they are learning through long-distance education. I think the idea here may be to stagger them, for them to come. One class comes for some time, they top up what they are learning from long distance, and they go, and then after some time they go away, and then another class comes like that, so that we maintain the smaller numbers, because now you hear out of the 15 million, once we have the two batches of the candidate and semi-candidates, the number goes to 3 million, which is still much less than the 15 million. 20% using the space of the previous 100%. Now, once the present candidate classes go away, that means the 1.3 million go away. So you can now be able to bring in these other staggered classes. I don't know whether the Minister of Health here would want to have like a maximum, a ceiling, for instance, to say out of the 15 million, do not at any one time have more than so many. If she tells us 3 million, or whatever, then we shall be guided. They will work on it. Now that will come in a staggered way. They come and go away, and others come and go away. Others come and go away. Then they continue learning at home. Those are the tactics of surviving in this terrible situation. All this has got some chibaro, some calculation. You know, the children coming to study and going back home can be a source of big trouble for the society. The young people, when they get infected, many survive, overcome the corona. Even here in State House, we have had some of our young children here who work here. Quite a number have been infected, and they have recovered. But the problem, so therefore the school population could get infected, but some die also, because some young people have died. You remember the first person to die in Uganda was the young woman from Namisindwa, who was only 34. That was the first person to die. And during the campaigns I showed you here on the TV, a girl of 5 in the US who died from corona. I showed you the picture here. So there's no guarantee, but generally speaking, the younger people survive better than the older people. Now, in opening schools, the big danger is that the children will come to school, pick the corona, and go and kill their parents and grandparents. So here we shall have the same situation like we had with AIDS, where all the adults died because the AIDS was affecting adults, not the children. And we ended up with many households headed by children. You know the risks of that. So those who have been agitating for opening schools should bear that in mind. What if we lose a whole generation of these adults? What impact would it have even on the children? The ones you claim to be concerned about, they may end up being worse than they were. However, what we are doing, we have decided to do now, is tied with other efforts. The efforts of getting a vaccine or getting a cure. The vaccine, we are preparing to start vaccinations in end of February or March, because we are going to get 3.5 million vaccines from a program known as COVAX facility. This is a group of countries which got together and funded vaccines for developing countries. So we are going to get 3.55 million vaccines